He just starts getting dementia after 10 years.
Wait a minute, I swear I left Anakin right there somewhere. Master Qui-Gon, have you seen the boy?
I have an issue. Why is he called Obi-Wan? That's a really dumb name, and it should have been addressed from the very beginning.
Why is it a dumb name?
Obi-Wan. Who would name their child Obi-Wan?
You realise your name is Shad.
Is it
That's
like the male version
That's
of
one letter away.
Obi-Wan-y?
Huh?
Is it like the male version of Obi-Wan-y? It's reference back to your joke
I don't get
that you
it.
made.
Obi-Wan.
That was a phenomenal joke. The male version of Obi.
You know what's funny, right? You when you did the Claudia thing.
Did they just say, Obi, come here, Obi. Why doesn't it? You know why no one calls him Obi? Because it's a horrible name.
It's better than Shad.
Like,
I'm pretty sure his would have been girlfriend.
By the way,
Obi.
Obi-Wan.
It's Obi-Wan, yeah.
Also, it's a different culture.
Also, his
different
master's
setting.
Qui-Gon.
I'm sure you can look at all
Qui-Gon
other
Jinn.
No, now he's just
hey,
called...
Qui. Come here, Qui.
Sounds like a... That
That's
sounds
not
like
really
a...
a real name.
You know, the series is mostly, like, we refer to it by Kenobi because that's a far more name-sounding word than Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Is it, and one what? Obi? Anyway.
One.
Look, okay.
Isn't it W-A-N?
You want to talk about weird names? Half the people
Don't
in
get
China...
technical here. It sounds like one. It might be spelled
I'm sorry
differently.
that I am applying logic.
Actually, I do want you to do that. Good. All right. I'm defeated by logic. Damn it.
So it's,
So it's W-A-N.
logic.
One.
One.
Guan.
I thought it was one.
Quan.
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Quan. From Halo.
The other thing that I need to say, do you purposely do a different arrangement for the cloak every episode?
No,
I couldn't be bothered doing the previous arrangement.
Because this is there, you have it like through the top thing.
Yeah, I just couldn't be bothered
Okay.
with the other.
Women don't have to dress like you want them to.
I respect that.
This isn't...
No, I
Saudi
respect
Arabia.
just not being bothered to do something because I'm like that all
I'm
the
gonna get a
time.
proper one that I don't have to do up.
Yeah.
Okay. Obi-Wan Kenobi. What do you guys think?
What's the deal with Kenobi?
Yes! Yeah, you got a right idea there.
I'm
Claudia.
starting to not like sand too. Yeah, it was boring. It's
You
not
found it
fun.
boring?
Really boring. Who knew that Obi-Wan just sitting in the desert for 10 years could be boring?
When I watched it at home, I really liked it.
Episode 1 or both episodes together?
I liked it.
This is purely episode 1.
Yep,
review.
yep.
How do you
And
feel now, Nathan?
I still like it.
What?
There's some things I have notes, and there's things I'll call up on when I think, yes, that is dumb, and I'll agree with you when I think it's dumb. But I still like it.
Nathan!
Yes.
You were the chosen one!
Yeah.
It said that
It's,
you're...
okay, maybe I was just very jaded from Wheel of Time and Halo and was expecting such awful dread.
Nathan,
There is a vast difference of quality comparing this to like something like Halo.
Yeah.
Halo was astoundingly bad.
But I've been jaded from Halo for the past 11 years, okay?
And this wasn't as bad.
Did you have a stroke?
No?
Claudia, what do you think?
Speaking Jawa.
If I'd watched it without analyzing it, I probably would have been happy with it. It's a little boring, a little slow for the first episode. It's introducing us to a lot of things in a really boring exposition slow kind of way. But there were things to like about it.
What was it like? What was likable about it? Name one thing likable about it. What's one thing? And don't just say, "Oh, Ewan McGregor." What was an actual thing?
But he was likable.
What was an actual thing?
Ewan McGregor was likable.
No, it wasn't.
Lola was cute.
I'm not the man I used to be. I'm sad now.
There was moments that I appreciated.
Okay, which one? What was that moment?
Before we get to the individual things, we're giving our broad thoughts. So, Claudia, you're saying, yeah, it was okay for a casual watch. Is that?
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't find it terrible. There were two big stupid moments. If you don't notice those, I could actually see people enjoying it. I think there are moments that you could enjoy out of this episode. My concern is that don't get fooled by a passable. I would say this episode is passable. I agree. there's some boring parts. It's slow. Okay, so I actually see everyone's viewpoint here, and I think it's all valid based on your taste at the moment. I see that it's boring, but I actually see parts in it that were enjoyable. The thing is, though, don't get fooled, because this is Disney, and the dumb moments that I'll get to are pretty big stupid things. Okay, and that gives a strong insight to the writing quality so far. And if they're going to be using this level of logic to justify certain plot points, I am worried we're in for a dumpster fire.
What gave you that hint, Shad?
It's Disney. That's the other thing. Look at Disney's track record.
Not that it's a show in 2022.
I enjoyed Moon Knight Episode 1. I actually thought it was well done. It was enjoyable. And then it just went off a cliff from all reports. And I gave up after... What?
I liked all of Moon Knight.
Get out of here. No, you're fine.
You know, if Obi-Wan saw Moon Knight like jumping down to attack him, he'd say, "That's no moon. That is a man."
I would agree. Okay, so now we'll get into some specifics of things you liked specifically, things you didn't like. Go on, guys.
I liked being able to make fun of Obi-Wan.
You had a ball.
You guys liked it though too.
Dementia Obi-Wan is pretty funny. We were calling him that.
we were just like when he shows like a confused face, he's like,
"Where are the droids I'm looking for?"
Where's Anakin? I left him around here somewhere.
Qui-Gon, where have you gone? Oh, I thought we were going to go.
Oh,
okay.
no.
I liked Leia.
Yeah.
I found Leia enjoyable. Because for me, I was a bit concerned with all of Luke's arc and messing up all of that story, and the fact that they step away from that.
Well, just on that note, because you brought it up, right? If we looked into the canon, there's some area in which they can move. And if they had any respect, they would restrict themselves to the canon and not break it.
Yeah.
But a couple of things that are established in A New Hope is that, one, Luke does know who Ben Kenobi is, old Ben Kenobi.
Yeah.
That sounded like he might have only seen him occasionally, once or twice, but doesn't know him really well, and is like, maybe he's talking about old Ben Kenobi, he lives over blah, blah, blah. So that's an interesting point.
He's a local old fella, basically. Everyone had a local old fella.
But the thing is, Uncle Owen specifically refers to Ben Kenobi as a wizard, that old wizard, and so what's interesting about that is that might establish that Obi-Wan might have used some of the Force now and then when he's supposed to be in hiding.
Yeah.
The other thing that's really interesting is he has no hesitation in New Hope to whip out that lightsaber and chop someone's arm off when they threaten him.
Well,
he wasn't trying to hide then.
No.
But he might have been thinking, hiding time is over, I need to get Luke out of there.
By then the Inquisitors and stuff had all been done away with.
But it wasn't like he had his lightsaber hidden. He had, Anakin's lightsaber just sitting in a box in his home.
I also think George wasn't thinking about it back in 1977.
How much Obi-Wan should have been hiding.
Yeah.
But all right, so that kind of gives a bit of a framework to work in, where it kind of establishes that Obi-Wan, he might be willing to use the Force just briefly or get the lightsaber, but they'd have to be very careful about him doing it on Tatooine and other things. And so those were kind of my thoughts about the canon. I'm very worried that they could break canon.
Disney breaking Star Wars canon? No.
Yeah,
Not that they haven't done it like 3 times in this episode already.
3 times?
Well, we know one for certain.
Which one is it?
Do you want to get into it now or later?
Well, we're already in spoilers. I guess actually broad views. Other things that you liked. We'll finish off this arc of the discussion.
I like it's only 6 episodes instead of 9 like Halo.
Is it only 6?
Only 6.
What did you like, Claudia?
I liked some of the sets. I liked how they're sticking to robots being props and a lot of the aliens being makeup and prosthetics. So far, it doesn't.
You seen aliens apart from people with weird coloured skin?
There are a few.
Well, aliens to us, probably not aliens
Jawas
to them.
and stuff, yeah.
I'm worried that they'll lean too far into the CGI and not stay true to.
There was
Star
some
Wars.
janky CGI and green screens that you could tell from the episode.
Yeah.
I also just liked the fact that I personally felt like I was with Kenobi on this, because it's been 10 years now. I felt the day in, day out, going to work, going back to the cave
They
site.
set up that well. I felt they did that
Like
well.
I
Really?
feel like how Kenobi felt.
Do you feel like you didn't get the Luke treatment? I've cut myself off from the Force.
Like, this is the thing. I feel like he has gone that way, but it's so much more justified with Kenobi than Luke.
What? All he did was cut his best friend's arms and legs off.
And his
leave him
entire
to die.
religion got destroyed.
And all the Jedi are dead. And, like, I think out of anyone, he'd be justified to be a bit jaded. Like, yeah, we lost.
Also,
Yeah.
the clones turned on them. Yeah.
Well, they
Worst things
set
could
it up.
happen.
They set it up with the speech from the bad guy in the beginning. You know, we follow a trail of compassion, and then the next scene is him not standing up for a little guy. So we've seen that he's abandoned his Jedi
You
ways.
feel personally betrayed?
No, out of anyone, I got this impression when I was watching. It was like, this is like, yeah, a jaded, like another example of like, you know, Jedi giving up on the thing.
I don't like
and this one actually felt justified. I could understand. It's like, this I could understand, right? Luke, it felt they forced it because it was out of
so you
the
did
blue. Forced. I actually wasn't thinking of that, but you think you were wondering that. Look, this one is undeserved, you know, praise, but I did appreciate seeing Obi-Wan. Yeah, I was surprised at how much nostalgia I had for that character still. Even from the original trilogy, like, hey, it's good to see. And that, I hate that, because it's like the jangling keys, it's like they're manipulating me,
You
and I
fell for
know
it,
it.
Shad.
It's like, but the thing is, they haven't betrayed Obi-Wan yet. And maybe if they do, I'll be, because interesting, I found that I still have a bit of nostalgia for this character, which means I'm going to be really ticked off if they do him dirty.
Yeah.
To me,
and I will too.
I have zero nostalgia attached, so he just seemed like an old dude who doesn't talk.
Why does that seem like such a girl thing? Girls just don't like Star Wars as much as
look,
guys.
I'm
I
disattached
haven't
to
watched
my
a lot of
nostalgia.
Star Wars.
It's just very consistent.
I detach my nostalgia.
It reminds
because it's
me-
Disney. It sucks.
Oh, sorry. It just reminds me of Big Bang Theory. So Sheldon's girlfriend, what's her name?
Amy.
Amy.
pretty
She's
sure
just
it's
not
better.
into like the Star Wars, what was it?
Was it Star Trek as well? Or?
Lord of the Rings.
Indiana Jones. And,
Yeah.
and when she pointed out the thing with Indiana Jones, Sheldon's like, I'm going to ruin it, something she loves, and he's trying to go through Pride and Prejudice, and it's like, did you find anything that's a big, massive hole? It's like, no, it's a timeless classic.
Hey, Shad, we have a copy of it. Would you like to read it?
I do, it's right there, because it is a timeless classic. Pride and Prejudice is
I
great.
also didn't grow up with it. It was kind of before my time.
Technically, neither did I,
My
but
parents didn't.
my father did the
Show
right thing
me.
and introduced it to me. He got me the VHS Star
I
Wars,
watched it on repeat.
and I watched like Return of the Jedi over
We
and
watched
over.
Lord of the Rings a lot.
Oh,
They were-
that's why you're a hobbit.
Yes, that is why.
But sorry, I did cut you off. I understand if you don't have nostalgia for these characters and didn't grow up on it.
Yeah.
And
But that opening scene as well, though, at the Jedi Temple.
that was honestly good. I like that.
Oh,
The
you kidding
opening.
me? Didn't
I
feel
just didn't
like...
like it because they were doing martial
No,
arts.
that's not
Okay,
right.
wait. I actually.
Tai Chi.
All right, I agree with Oz there. The Tai Chi thing felt out of place and didn't
They gotta
fit.
stop
When
doing
do
it.
we see Jedi doing Tai Chi? That
They're
was
younglings.
stupid. They should have
Maybe
been
they were all just
practicing
sitting
with the
around
Force. Yeah, sitting down.
meditating.
Exactly. But the Tai Chi thing, it was like, what is this crap? But then the fighting happened. I was like,
There's,
okay.
there's literally a point in episode 2, Attack of the Clones, where Obi-Wan goes to talk to Yoda.
Yeah, and they're all
Yoda's-
doing
and
stuff.
they're all got lightsabers.
Yeah,
in their
yeah.
hands.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me too. I would rather that. Still,
Could you imagine if Order 66 happens and there's just an army of toddlers with little lightsabers? Dude, those clones wouldn't stand a chance.
So, like, again, the fact that they had do the Tai Chi thing gives me the impression that the people making this,
Don't know.
they might, like, they're not understanding. So, to me, that was pretty clear that that was not a Star Wars thing.
Yeah.
And they're thinking, Jedi, martial arts, they're a bit.
I
you
think
just
they do it for the
reminded
Chinese
me.
audience.
You reminded me, Shad, of so the main Inquisitor chick, Reva, the actress, couldn't explain what an Inquisitor was to the interviewer. She's like, I tried understanding, but I understand they're not Sith, but I don't really know what they do. Like,
These are warning signs. These are
I
warning
saw
signs.
that. That's why I was really scared about
detectives.
this, and it was so much better for me because I saw those interviews and I was like, oh no, it's gonna suck. But so far. I don't want to say anything else. It's gonna jinx it. But yeah.
What were you saying before, Claudia? You said something about detectives or something.
Is she like a Jedi detective?
No.
No.
She doesn't even understand.
She doesn't.
Who are we working with, Nathan?
I don't
Well,
know.
you see,
I know she's the
Jedi's
third sister.
Jedi's hunt themselves, so their job is kind of irrelevant.
Jedi hunters.
Yeah, the Jedi hunter.
Yeah, but the Jedi hunt themselves. They cannot help it. So their job is kind of irrelevant.
Yeah, the logic wasn't following through.
Yeah.
But they were trying to say basically they're easy to find because they're compassionate.
Yeah, because they cannot help it. I'm going to do it like that every time.
Look, I don't know much about Rebels or anything, so I can't really comment on the adaptation between... Because this is a character that appears in Rebels.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think a show should stand on its own in this regard. So I don't see... Look, actually I do. I see both sides, so... But if it's a decently done character that's different to Rebels...
Wait, who?
So the guy with the weird white face thing, he's a character from an animated version of Star Wars called Star Wars Rebels.
How long was he in Rebels for?
Don't know.
Till the end.
I did notice Did you see like the lightsaber things with the circle things?
Yeah.
So they come from Rebels, and people have asked me to comment on like on Shadiversity because the thing that happens with them, guys, this is like big stuff, right? It's a lightsaber with two ends that spins. It spins
Like a Beyblade?
Like you hold in the middle and the circle, and it spins.
Have you seen the Star Wars?
No, you're obviously not getting it. It spins, guys.
Yeah, Claudia, you're not getting it.
Spin, Shad. It makes them fly or float. Somehow, light blades are used as propellers.
Wow.
That's clearly a gyroscopic effect combined with the plasma field, Nathan. You stop thinking about it, right?
Actually,
But it spins. It's a lightsaber that spins.
Hang on.
Thank you, Dave
What does it
Filoni.
do?
That spins.
spins.
Yeah.
That's a good trick.
It's a good trick. Thank you. You got there. That's creativity. I'm
Shad
just
just
saying.
squirted.
So it's full create. So I can't wait until I see it spin. If you didn't get what I'm trying to say here, it's retarded.
Why is it retarded that spins?
It's like
The Thanos blade spun,
that was a bit retarded too.
but why is this one also retarded? Why is it retarded if a blade spins?
In terms of the combat validity rating, it's actually not that effective. Like,
Oh, and you're the authority here. Yeah, you are actually.
and if they use it to spin to like block things, that's really dumb as well. It's actually not that hard to get through a spinning thing, especially if you're shooting enough.
What if it just goes
There's a
really,
hole in the
really
middle.
fast?
Yeah, there's just a hole in the middle. Okay, so I saw that. It's on notice. We'll see what they do with those lightsaber thingies. Okay, and it seems to be the thing of the Inquisitors. Why? What advantage does a spinning lightsaber give them in hunting Jedi?
I think it gives them a disadvantage. And that's what they do on purpose. I reckon Sidious and Vader
Don't give me that.
are like, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate.
That's
I want
desperate,
them
Nathan.
to
You're
be
reaching.
easier to kill. And so they gave them worse weapons.
It's like Kung
I
Pao.
solved it, Shad.
It's like Kung Pao. We trained him wrong on purpose as a joke.
Yeah, exactly.
They might use a logic like that because, oh my goodness. That's how people try and justify the bat'leth in Star Trek. It's meant to be a bad weapon on purpose because the Klingons have this honor culture where they want to fight at a disadvantage.
That's also
Even though
that's the same cope they use for these crappy lefty shows. Oh, it's meant to be bad. It's meant to piss you off.
And the thing is, it's contradicted by Star Trek episodes where they choose the bat'leth as a great weapon. They say it's a really good weapon. All this bullcrap, and it's not.
Bat'leth spin.
No, they try and do a spinny thing with it. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Other stuff, episode good badness stuff. Is it my turn? Do I know?
It's been your turn the entire time.
Well,
I keep interrupting.
yeah.
Yeah, Nathan, stop interrupting Shad.
Gosh, Nathan.
Yeah.
I like Uncle Owen.
No,
He's good.
Stop interrupting.
Guess what? I liked Uncle Owen too.
When they had the blade up to him, he was just like, all right, so be it. I was like, damn.
He's like the Chad of
He
this
is
show.
good.
And you know what I also really liked?
What?
I think they didn't use the actor's regular voice. They made him sound like Uncle Owen from the episode 4. Because I know the actor, he doesn't sound like that.
What's his name?
He was either putting on a gruffer, deeper voice.
What's his name again?
I don't
Luke
know.
something.
Yeah,
Which is ironic.
But is either putting on a really good voice or they replace the voice to make it sound like the Uncle Owen from episode 4, and it actually synced really well if it was replaced.
I don't think they would have bothered with replacing his voice.
Well, they've done it before. Episode 2, Clone Wars, everything had to be voiced over.
Really?
Yeah, because the digital cameras had too much humming sound.
Yeah, so with editing, there's a whole hum into that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, George Lucas said we'll fix it all in post.
Even the audio, the voice, that's funny.
Yeah.
Like the scene where he puts the gives the toy back, right? It was sold. Uncle Owen felt like he actually cared about Luke.
Yeah.
Seriously. And his distrust of Obi-Wan and what happened with that all felt very natural. I was surprised. To me, that was probably the best part of the show, Uncle Owen.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
I don't like him.
I agree.
I like the fact
you
that
just hate everything on it.
I just like the fact that he's like, yes, release me from this desert hell. Kill me, Inquisitor lady.
I don't want to farm anymore.
But even Jedi are scum.
Yeah, like he was telling the truth.
Like he obviously would be justified in not liking the Jedi. So Uncle Owen, I give 2 thumbs up. The show should be about him, but it's probably not. And then it's like, I know what happens to Uncle Owen, but I think I'm glad that they're giving us, more Uncle Owen, and then but then we know what happens.
To be fair,
Exactly. Make that death mean more.
we have seen Uncle Owen's arc complete. He got the death he so craved in episode 4.
Poor Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru. Well, he just wanted to harvest moisture, guys.
Yeah.
On a desert planet? What a hellish existence. It's like, he returned the toy, don't give my boy any hope.
Look. He's probably glad that he died before Boba Fett comes into,
Boba Fett.
Not Boba Fett. I get it mixed up. It is Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Who?
Boba Fett comes in to try and rule Tatooine.
Oh, yeah.
That's like...
I thought when the mean Inquisitor person who's just evil for the sake of being evil chops off the hand. It's like, I was thinking, well, good thing they have body replacement shops everywhere on Tatooine. That's easy to do.
I had a funny joke when it came up. You'll see it when you watch this video.
Okay. I'm handing it back to you. Any other comments before?
Right, how long do we have it for, though? Because it feels like we're going to say one thing. It's going to trigger your memory.
Most likely. Wait a minute. Yes.
Quickly, go!
Go, Shad!
Go. Do it. Go. Trigger me again.
I don't know. What do you got? Oh my goodness, your handwriting.
What?
Some sort of code. I hear monologue, I see that.
Yes.
Let me guess, even monologue was, they cannot help it! It's they can't scratch.
He has his whole monologue basically saying, Jedis are too good, so we're gonna kill them all.
Which isn't the best way to, ingratiate yourself with
Yes, exactly.
the population.
His whole monologue building up was like, this Jedi saved you and is being really nice to you and everything, and you'll be giving him protection because it's so nice.
He literally walked like, the good guys can't help being awesome! We're here to put a stop to that!
Basically, yeah.
Well, there's better ways to do that.
But yeah, it doesn't fit the narrative of the Jedi were evil.
So, one thing that kind of annoys me,
Uh-huh.
these Inquisitors are just getting in, they can, walk over everyone, and someone even says, this is the Outer Rim, you don't have,
Yeah, but that's
to me,
the hand.
Tatooine is supposed to be this lawless place of scum and villainy, right? We saw that if you just have enough blasters pointed at people, even with lightsabers at the beginning, you could kill them. But these people, everyone is acting like these Inquisitors are unbeatable. We can't oppose them in any way, even though they're being total jerks, threatening to kill everyone. You'd think just someone would get pushed to the moment where they just pull out a blaster and start offloading, and then enough people.
I wrote that down.
Did you?
They were acting like they were all oppressed and like this was a common occurrence. That people just come down and tell them what to do and they just all do it, except for one lady who gets her hand cut off.
And that
And
felt,
nobody bats an eye.
exactly, that felt out of character for Tatooine, which is supposed to be full of angry people. It felt like the Empire mostly avoided Tatooine. Yeah, we see some Empire presence there in episode 4, but they have an issue trying to lock down the law
It
there.
seemed like a really peaceful place that doesn't see anything bad, and so when something bad comes in, oh,
Yeah.
And that would probably work better. Imagine if instead of it was the supposedly ultra evil Sith, hey, stop being so mean to the people, it was Jabba's men, being like, hey, we've got 1,000 guns pointed at you. Can you stop being dicks? Cut people's hands off?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or maybe the Empire pays off Jabba to do the oppressing and looking for the Jedi. But these Inquisitors come down who think they're top S, and no one bats an eye when they being more mean and jerks and stuff. So that didn't really feel realistic.
Everyone's completely apathetic to whether they'd lose an arm or a hand, get killed, Uncle Owen, or...
Oh, she gets a handshake.
Man.
Oh, no.
You protect your
I
family?
guess I'll stop talking now.
You think you can protect your family from me? God, I hope not. Kill us all, lady.
Yeah. So this is like, I don't know, like Tatooine that's been totally...
It just felt like easy writing. They just wrote it that way because it was just easier to get
Makes it
through.
more convenient for them.
Well,
Gets
funny that you say that, because there is a very lazy writing, like when I say two big dumb moments. Well, should I save the dumb moments to the end or just go right into it? I don't know. We're already in spoilers.
They're
now.
here to watch it.
Highly arbitrary, Shad.
It is. Whenever it comes up. I wonder if you guys will bring it up. I'll wait until because I want to hear your
Wait
notes.
till we start to say the word.
And then I'll be like, yes! I'll just take...
Oh, man. I'm trying to jinx us 24/7, man.
Yeah.
Do you say something?
Yeah,
The
don't.
kidnapping?
Oh, the kidnapping!
What about the kidnapping, Claudia?
There is no security. She just walks off into the forest that is like right next. They have the forest like right next to their big fancy palace, and it's like a walk, like literally in their backyard. Like there's no security. There's no line of sight.
there is security, but they
Anyone
just-
could sneak up through the forest onto their nice, boring
That's a fair
tower thing. Branches. Did you know that if you run into a branch, you can't duck under it, you have to run into the floor so the little girl can run away.
I'm glad you brought that up. That actually isn't on the two big dumb moments, but it is a dumb moment where the guy sees the branch, it's clear, and he's running, and she ducks under it, and he just decides to run into it, even though he clearly sees it.
It was a very slow chase.
And she
that
goes
didn't
through a
need to
tree as
go
well,
for
and then the
long
guy
as it
goes,
did.
and he's just in between the two tree chunks.
You know, you're saying, I can break this branch. Ah, damn it.
And then she runs and he goes, oh,
Yeah.
and she walks up to him, she goes, ah, and runs a different, well, she doesn't
Yeah.
scream. She doesn't scream at all this whole time.
She should have.
She's silent.
Yeah.
Except for when a guard comes and she's like, help me, but I don't feel any urgency.
If a girl was cornered by three strange men in the woods, she'd start screaming. Rightfully so.
Yes.
I will mention one of the things that I thought was, I at least enjoyed, or partially well done, was the justification they put in for Obi-Wan to decide to actually go help, where he's like, no, I can't, you have to deal with Leia, everything like that. And his clear moment of decision was when he sees the dead Jedi. How that Jedi gets there's issues, but when you see the dead Jedi, you couldn't tell that was his, I need to kind of do something moment. I also felt a connection. Like, it's funny how that scene has been memed, where he's looking through the thing at Luke and down. The thing is, though, I felt that scene was actually really well done, because you see Luke and you automatically think it's Anakin. And Obi-Wan is seeing young Anakin there, basically, through the visor, and you see that emotion that he's feeling as a result. It was actually good, some shocking, good, subtle storytelling where they didn't need to... Obi-Wan didn't need to say, oh, you remind me of Anakin. This makes me feel so bad. I'm telling this new audience who is too stupid to read the scene.
You know who's probably thinking, if I can train him to at least not kill one child, that'll be a victory. But then he does with Kylo. He tries to kill him.
Obi-Wan, what
I train murderers.
So, look, I wanted to point out areas in which I could compliment. In terms of random job you end up doing on Tatooine, I wasn't expecting harvesting the flesh of some dead thing, but it did look tasty.
Looked like salmon.
It looks like salmon, yeah. I like salmon.
Yeah.
I don't
desert
know.
Look, I have recently watched a YouTube video of some Japanese sushi restaurant carving up a massive tuna. Like, they start with this tuna that's like this big.
How long was it dead for? How long was it in the desert for in the direct sunlight?
I know, that's a bit... Yeah,
Space time.
But look,
We don't
maybe...
know how these animals...
Maybe it gets preserved by
deteriorate,
heat.
though.
Also, we figured out why they started getting paid less, the people who worked there.
Right.
Because everyone kept stealing bloody meat.
Yeah.
Someone's embezzling here. It's
I know.
nice. It's not me. And everyone's just eating the meat. Like, this isn't the meat.
I was like, he was doing it so blatant and openly. I was thinking, is he just allowed to get a cut off the side? People know it, but he's just like...
Because his boss is right there, just like watching him. Oh, yeah, clocked off, all good.
Yeah, I'm assuming they're okay with him doing it. But anyway, seeing the meat carved up reminded me of that video I watched about carving up the tuna, because there's these giant slabs of just red meat. And it's like, anyway.
There'll be sand in that.
It did look... Food, you don't know where they get food on Tatooine.
I don't know where they get food here.
But maybe you can justify that this could be considered a delicacy somewhere else, and they're trying to...
Or maybe it's off and they're just going to use it for fertilizer.
Yeah.
And why are they cutting it up like that? Why is Obi-Wan
Because
taking it
they
home
sell it to
eat
people.
Obi-Wan's feeding
They
it to
sell
his
it to the
camel.
moisture farmers.
He's literally like poisoning his camel at this point. Whatever makes me die quicker on
Probably
this
a lot
hell
of moisture
planet.
to get out of those.
Huh?
Probably a lot of moisture to get out of those.
Yeah, it looked juicy. Anyway, but everyone probably saw it and just think, man, that looks stinky and rotten meat. And I'm like, hey, it looks tasty.
Are you kidding? There's nothing more appetizing than a giant whale in the sun rotting. When I lived in Perth, right, there's beaches, right? Long beaches all along thing, right? And there was a dead whale that washed up one time. We went there one time, never going to do anything like that again, because it is the worst thing ever. They tried moving it with a bulldozer, just split it apart. Dude.
Yummy!
Smells so bad.
I could taste it in my mouth.
Just imagine the worst thing you've ever smelled. Then it's at the beach.
All right, I'll let you guys share some of the other notes. You got the cool notes there?
One thing I'm going to keep an eye on, right, is Reva, because she seems to have the power of mind reading. That's her force ability. She can sense
Where'd that come from?
with Uncle Owen. She's
yeah.
like, oh, okay, you're a farmer,
she just
you've
picked
got a
someone random.
family,
That's what I thought too.
stuff like that. And so I know certain Jedis have certain abilities, and this is kind of newer canon stuff. And so some are good at mind reading, some are good at, doing whole Yoda stuff, lifting objects.
Some are
And
really
so
good at Tai Chi.
my ruling with her is if this is just her ability and she's good at this, that's okay. But if she starts getting good at all the Jedi Force abilities, that's what I'm going to call out bad writing Mary Sue.
You're telling me a character called Reva is going to be Mary Sue? I don't believe you. This is Disney
So that
canon.
whole scene was her using her
force powers, yeah.
powers.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was just
Her
they wrote her
intuition.
as oh, I'm gonna pick on that guy because he looks like he knows things.
Yeah, that guy could be taken down a peg or two.
So, do you think they're going to do a redemption arc for her? That as she tries to hunt down Obi-Wan, he's going to teach her the good way?
It seems like it so far in the first episode.
Look, first she's got to give that lady her hand back.
Because at the moment, they're like... She's supposed to be a villain, okay? And so if they want me to dislike this character, they're doing a great job, because I really just she's entitled, she's up herself, she thinks she knows what to do, and everything like that.
She's angry.
She's very angry.
Impulsive.
And to me, if you're going to try and have a character with the intent, if this is the case, to have the audience like the character and stuff like that, you can still make a villain and make them likable. There's nothing likable about this character.
Yeah, but look at the other ones. We've got they can't help it, and then you've got the Asian dude.
You reminded me of Juan.
Same, because we're both racist.
He talked. No. It's not. He talked like Juan.
Might have been the fact that he had very Asian features as well as a large.
He was a bit chunky as well. He had the
Well-
chunk on his side like Juan. And
Well, I'm sitting right here, Shad. So, yeah. But there's not really good villains. There's no good characters in this show.
You do look a bit like Juan.
Shut up. So, screw you. And the worst villain in this show so far has been either the Jawa or the dude's boss. Because the Jawa stole from him inside his house.
I love the Java.
I hate him.
The Java felt very
Jawas.
Java-ish.
They're so cute.
Dude,
They
I would-
haven't chopped it. Look, they haven't chopped anyone's arm off and tried to kill innocent people.
If a Jawa stole from me in my own home, I would stomp his head until it was Jawa
They
juice,
just
man.
have
Yeah,
sticky
that's
fingers.
that's just you in your own home. In Star Wars, Jawas are funny.
Hang on, Jawa juice. Is Jawa juice?
Jawa juice is
Hey,
a
do you
thing.
want to eat Jawa juice?
Yes. Wow, that was incredibly accurate.
That is in Star Wars. Now I'm wondering where Jawa juice comes from.
Hello, Dex.
That's awful. Do they milk them? How do they get Jawa juice?
Well, yeah, anything
Should
with
I
nipples
find
you
out
can-
now?
And a mommy Jawa and a daddy Jawa.
Wait a minute, that follows the trend of us milk. I want to try Jawa milk.
Why are we back here again?
Look at episode 7. Like,
Well, in the desert, no water, so it come out like condensed milk, if anything. It'd be all chewy. Yeah.
So,
What's Jawa cheese taste like?
any other big things?
My biggest gripe
Yeah, you've got this written in capitals.
was at the very end.
Okay.
Obi-Wan has his lightsaber hilted on his side when he's going to go on the ship. You can see it on the side.
Yes.
That's very visibly Jedi. Everyone can see it. It's out in the open.
I wrote down the gun show trope. They
Yeah.
always whoosh, show the gun.
You're correct. If he's trying to hide his Jedi,
So he's not hiding it. Anakin saw Qui-Gon's back in the day. He's like, oh, it's a
And
lightsaber.
does he just go back to work, like dressed up as a Jedi now? Like, I'm gonna be a Jedi.
So that was my biggest gripe. I was like,
Can't
Obi-Wan,
miss
if you
my
want to be
shift.
hidden, don't have a lightsaber on your side hilt. Also, I mean, this isn't story-wise, but I felt the music very underwhelming.
Well, I didn't notice it, so it didn't underwhelm me or overwhelm me.
There was one part where I noticed the music, and that was it. And I liked it, but that was it.
Like, I get John
I don't remember
Williams,
what
he's
part,
90
though.
now. The man should just retire.
How old is he?
90.
Whew.
90 years old. And I reckon he just did it because Kathleen's like, please, we'll give you $1 million. He's
No,
like,
no. Kathleen didn't say please. Kathleen pulled a Glock out and said, do it.
True. But that was underwhelming compared to, like, the other Star Wars music, which is incredible.
There wasn't much music.
Why didn't they just use the old Star Wars music? Why not? Takes place after episode 3 and 4. You can
Yeah.
just use Luke's theme for... Use Star Wars music. You have the rights to.
Yeah, it's
Maybe they
no
just
point.
didn't want to play John Williams royalties, except for that one song he did.
I'm reading Nathan's notes. They're entertaining. He's got, yes, Leia, I am here for this.
I love little Leia. She's reminds me of my niece, who, yeah,
I
can
wrote
say
down-
some things to your
Look, and,
face.
and honestly, with how assertive Leia is in, the original trilogy, it makes sense that she would be a bit of a,
Yeah, but she's 10. She shouldn't be able to understand the nuances of, like, early childhood trauma and fear of parents.
I
stuff
thought
like
she was
that.
using the Force.
She literally just Dr. Phil'd that
I know,
kid and
but
she's 10.
to me, I thought that was her using the Force unknowingly.
That's dumb.
And Leia is supposed to be a savvy political maneuverer. when she
She's
grows up.
10!
Yeah, have you seen 10-year-olds?
Yes?
Her mother was Padme. It's in her blood.
Yeah, but it's just
Her mother
the
was an
thing
awful
she
politician.
says. She says how, oh, you're just repeating what your dad says, implying she knows what the adults talk about when she's not around. I can get that. Maybe she's listened in, but she says, you're just repeating what your dad says. You're scared of him. That's very insightful for a 10-year-old to say. I could get it if she says, you're just scared because you're boring and lame and it cuts him deep. I'd understand that a little more.
Okay, look, I agree.
She's falling a bit into the child too smart trope.
Yeah, it's literally like my son was watching the news and said, "Is Trump gonna come and get me, Dad?"
I agree. That trope certainly
Like,
is
they could
present.
have given her something different, insightful to say that
And what?
still fits with her being a 10-year-old, but I felt like that was a little too far from me believing that came from the mind of a 10-year-old.
Yeah, good points. Good points. So, this isn't the biggest dumb moment for me, but it is pretty stupid. I was like, come on. So, the Inquisitors, they go through all this thing to uncover the Jedi, right? They're willing to murder someone, and he does the Jedi thing. They have a lightsaber pressing on his arm, and this is where the logic starts to fall apart. The head Inquisitor stops her from hurting him, or stops her from trying to kill him, yet later on when they find him, they kill him.
Well, actually, we have a theory about that.
What's your theory?
He actually died of dehydration in the desert. They just hung him up there, just like.
Because there's no damage on his body. He's just, like, dead.
This is true. But the other thing is, they essentially had him captured.
Yeah.
He stops the lightsaber from doing the Bernie thing, and then he just runs away.
Yeah.
And they just stand there. And I'm-
That
The thing
scene,
drops and they're like, ah!
that scene made me think that they were going to use him to find more Jedi, but when he runs, they don't know anything about Obi-Wan Kenobi being on this planet, so when he runs away, and it would have, if that was the case, it would have been her idea, because she's the one trying to find Obi-Wan, but they just let him walk away for no reason.
Yeah, it looked really stupid. These guys are terrible at their jobs.
But they did that with Leia as well. They let her run away for ages when the dudes could have
I know.
caught up to her really quickly.
Also, the Reaver just knows that Leia is Anakin Skywalker's
Okay.
child.
No. I think
And that
Okay, no, you go
Anakin
first, Shad.
and that Anakin is Darth Vader.
She doesn't know that, but you are
She does.
identifying the biggest problem in this episode.
Well, she does know that Luke.
No,
she
no, no,
knows
no.
at least. She knows at least that Leia is the son of Anakin.
No, she doesn't.
She does.
No, she doesn't.
It's contradictory to her character.
She
as well.
said specific. Oh, sorry, the guy said specific. Or she said that
Yeah, I got it written down.
her father, Leia Organa's father, fought with Obi-Wan in the war.
Didn't say Leia Organa.
No, but the father, meaning Leia, fought with Obi-Wan in the war. That's the logic.
Wait, meaning Bail.
Yeah, Bale.
What? But he didn't fight in the war. He's a
Yeah.
senator.
This is where
He's not a soldier.
This is where the biggest problem in the episode, where the logic just falls apart. And this is where I was saying, if this is their level of thought and depth they put in to try and justify the plot of this show, we are got some issues.
Yeah, okay, but I don't want to go too ahead of myself. But because of next episode, I know that I'm right.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, then there's even a bigger problem.
Yeah.
But let me focus on the logic of this episode, and if I can then contextualize
We'll
it with
see.
the next episode. But in this episode, the logic is that this guy fought with Obi-Wan. Therefore, if I kidnap his daughter, that will flush Obi-Wan out.
And she assumes that he's going to go to a Jedi who's
In hiding.
denounced his Jedi ways and not send a whole army after his royal daughter.
To me, it was the dumbest plan ever. And I'm interested now in what you're
And
saying
she
with
seems
episode two.
that's very insightful of her. That's very that's planning ahead when we've been told by both of the dudes who's been traveling with her that she's impulsive and too aggressive and that she doesn't think things through.
Also, so she says that he fought beside her father during the war.
Yeah, fought beside.
Yeah,
Bail
But
didn't
also,
fight.
the entire Senate was fighting
yes,
against the
exactly.
separatists.
This is where it falls apart. Like, Obi-Wan fought with lots of people in the war. How the hell does she think that there's this special connection with this random senator who we didn't see him fight
Can
in
I
the war?
just say it? It's not a spoiler. It's just a small thing. She knows that Darth Vader is Anakin. In the next episode, she literally tells Obi-Wan, yes, Anakin's alive.
Okay.
As a taunt.
But does she know then that Leia is Anakin's daughter?
If she has said he fought Obi-Wan, let me finish this.
okay.
If someone has said her father fought beside him in the war, and the person who was literally the apprentice to that person fought beside him the entire war, and she knows that that's Anakin Skywalker, come on, that's literally right there.
No.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding.
Everyone except me is insane.
No, because knowing that Darth Vader is Anakin doesn't mean that she knows he had children or anything like that. Like, the logic...
What doesn't this lady know?
The logic is
Yeah.
flawed, but it still makes much more sense that she's referring to... What's the guy's name?
Bale.
Bale.
Based on what we've seen in this episode, she can read minds. What doesn't she know?
It'll be interesting when I watch episode 2. But no, like, to me, this really feels like, person fought with Obi-Wan in war, and even though out of all the people fought in the war, I'll just choose this random person out of all the other people, kidnap that child, and that's really going to flush Obi-Wan out.
It is a well-documented fact that politicians don't fight wars.
Yeah, I know, that's
Then why are they saying he fought beside her father in the war?
Because Leia says it in episode 4.
What does she say?
When she's like, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope, she says, you fought with my father during the Clone
I'd like
Wars."
to see the exact quote before I can see that point.
Do you want me to...
Yeah, bring it
You
up.
can look it up.
General Kenobi, years ago you served my father in the Clone Wars.
Served.
Now he begs you to help him in his
Served?
battle against the
Yes.
Empire. I regret that I am unable to present my father's request to you in person, but my ship has fallen under attack and I'm afraid my mission to bring you to Alderaan has failed. I have placed information vital to the survival of the rebellion into the memory systems of this R2 unit. My father will know how to retrieve it. You must see this droid safely delivered to him on Alderaan. This is our most desperate hour. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only
You
hope.
served my father in the war.
And he has a mission.
That's a semantical difference. Like, if you
No,
serve
are
with
you
someone...
kidding me?
Oz,
Semantic
when you serve with someone, you can easily say, we fought together.
Well, it says here, you serve my father. This is unable to present my father's request to you in person. So it's a request directly for Obi-Wan Kenobi, implying that they do have a relationship.
Yeah, but the fact that she has said, and she's quite correct in this fact, that Anakin and Obi-Wan were literally tied at the bloody waist throughout an entire decade's worth of war.
But I think
But
in
that-
this...
he's not-
You think
Oz,
I get what you're
Oz.
saying.
I think in the context of the show,
And she knows that he's Darth Vader.
Oh, he also fought next to other people as well.
But she knows that he's Darth Vader. She knows Anakin Skywalker is Darth Vader.
Yeah, but she doesn't know that Darth Vader had children.
But she's already...
I'm loving this.
Comments, what do you think? Did
Honestly-
IQs drop sharply this morning when I woke up?
Honestly, I've forgotten what we're arguing at this point.
So I'm saying that Reva knows that Leia is Anakin's daughter. And she
Okay.
knows that Anakin is Darth Vader because she says it. And so her plan is to kidnap Anakin Skywalker's daughter because Anakin fought with Obi-Wan in the Clone Wars like she says everything that I just said. She literally says it.
No.
But didn't she say the dude's name?
She just says her father. And so that could just mean
Her father fought
Fail.
beside him in the war.
No.
And a politician doesn't fight
She
beside a
does
Jedi.
not know Leia is Anakin's daughter.
But the dude's a senator. Why are we fighting beside a Jedi?
That's a semantic...
That's a semantic difference, but you're saying that my one, where she literally knows Anakin's Darth Vader, she knows that this dude
But-
is some...
the way that she would know that he's Vader is because she was at the temple when he went to kill them all. And so she would have seen Anakin as Vader.
Okay,
before,
sure,
all that
let's
stuff.
assume that, but that still adds to mine and takes away from yours.
What do you mean? No, it doesn't. She knows that Anakin is Vader, but she doesn't know that Leia is related to Vader at all.
You want to talk about semantic difference? There's no, a politician doesn't fight in a bloody war.
Well, that-
Comments down below, what do you think? Either way, it's retardedly written.
It
I'm
is.
And we all agree on that.
Not that Oz is right.
No.
No, he's
The
right.
fact that the writing is,
No,
is
we,
poor.
we can never agree to that. We just wait and wait for it to be confirmed by reality.
The fact that they do that, though, it could have just been she's kidnapped for ransom and then he goes out to get her. Why does it have to be connected to her? Why couldn't it have just been a device for the story? Why do they have to try and make it connect?
So what are you saying? Why couldn't they... What?
When they're kidnapped, why couldn't it just be they're kidnapping a princess for
Yeah,
ransom?
see, that's the thing. That's easily just... Leia is important enough for random bad people to maybe want to
Yeah.
get for ransom, everything like that. And Leia is important to Obi-Wan to force him to potentially come out of hiding. But
Which would
to
then
connect...
alert her to his coming in.
And I thought that was the connection, but now that they're presenting that
sorry.
it's orchestrated by the Inquisitor lady, it's like, no, she would have no idea. That
Apparently she
Leia-
does.
No, she doesn't.
She's said multiple times, I know this family structure, apparently.
No, she... What?
Of course she didn't say that literally, but she knows that Darth Vader is Anakin. She knows that her father fought beside him in the war.
Yeah,
She
and
wants
you're...
to get
but you are so hell-bent on thinking that the father is referring to Anakin. There's no proof of that at all.
Because the politician doesn't fight beside a Jedi in a war.
That's a easy verbiage.
Oh, it's a
that-
semantic thing, yes.
Yes.
Because a politician sitting in a company
But this
office
is-
in the
this is
Senate
the thing.
is fighting
Oz.
beside a Jedi who's in combat every day.
It's not just this guy and Anakin. Obi-Wan fought against heaps, side by side with heaps of people, right? And so when she says he fought, with the father in the Clone Wars, it could be anyone that he fought next to. It doesn't have to be Anakin.
Yes, yes. I'm sure that that everyone felt that Bush was beside them in the Gulf War when they were in the trenches and foxholes. Yes, everyone felt in Vietnam, they felt Nixon in, right behind them watching their back.
By the way, we don't know if he didn't fight in the war or not.
He didn't, he was a senator.
Yeah, but he might have actually gotten in some action at some point. Led, a platoon.
Look
give
at how
orders.
many bloody loopholes we have to jump through but or
Hang on,
it
hang
could
on.
just be as simple as she somehow knows.
Is this a unjustified assumption to assume that someone who is a leader in battle of some kind, because he's a senator, he has authority, might have actually been present in a battle to command some of the troops?
Yes, because
That's not a
command,
leap.
because the highest levels of command don't fight in the field.
But when they
Even officers don't.
when they are commanding
Well-
the army, they are still just usual, just normal thing says that they are part of the
Also,
war.
he wasn't commanding the army. The Jedi were generals. The senators were just senators.
We will see, okay? But honestly, this was the dumbest moment in the show for me, where random person who fought with Obi-Wan, that'll flush him out. It's like, what? Does it? Yeah.
Prove to me he fought with Obi-Wan.
Prove to me he didn't.
Because he's a senator and
Yeah,
there's
the-
no footage of him
The
fighting
movies
in the war.
only show very small
But
parts
there's
of the
plenty
overall
of footage of
timeline.
Anakin and Obi-Wan fighting together.
So therefore, it can only be Anakin. Like Obi-Wan didn't fight side by side with anyone in the
Now
war.
who's
other
being
than-
semantic?
No, seriously. Do you think Obi-Wan fought side by side with anyone else other than Anakin? And we do have stuff of that. In Clone Wars, he's fighting side by side by other Jedi, other generals, other clone troops all the time.
Prolonged gratification is going to make me appreciate the comments when this video comes out.
Okay.
All right. You do that. What are you looking up there, Nathan?
If he fought in the war, if there's any battle that he ever did.
Is there?
Is there?
I haven't gotten through all the paragraphs yet. There's quite a long Wikipedia page on Bail Organa.
Well, to me, even if it's not shown, there's a lot of parts in the timeline that we don't get revealed.
His name literally means to go. Bail.
I just think it's very, what's the word? Coincidental that she kidnaps a princess, and then the one thing that this guy does is goes and calls Obi-Wan. Doesn't use the army, doesn't do bounty hunter, doesn't do anything else.
You do realise if she knew that this was Darth Vader's daughter, Darth Vader would kidnap her and
Yeah, I didn't say it was written well.
No, like this one.
The whole point is that this show's written very poorly. It makes no bloody sense.
Like I will put money that it's referring to Bail when she says the father.
Okay,
Yeah.
but that doesn't make me wrong.
What do you mean?
I don't
For
know.
now.
If she's referring to the father as
Just
Bail.
comments down below, people. Let's move on from this.
So, well, the thing is, though, this is important because this is the inciting incident that's going to kick off the rest of the plot of the show. And if it's stupid, that means, as I was saying, the logic that they're applying to justify the plot is really bad. They obviously... The thing is, though, to get Obi-Wan to actually want to leave and potentially pick up the lightsaber again, it would have to be as serious as either Luke or Leia being kidnapped. Okay, anything else wouldn't really work.
Yeah.
But do you really think that plot writing could be so bad on the first episode where they, let a Jedi escape because they want to keep him alive for interrogation, but then they kill him as soon as they find him? How the fact that the Jedi trying to stay hidden and he went to the extent of burying his lightsaber in the middle of the desert, but now he's walking around with it just hanging out in full view of everyone. Like, come on, this show suffers from the exact same symptoms of the same disease that infects every other aspect of media for the past 6 years. It's written by morons who aren't thinking about anything except for what can we insert into here that fits with us politically.
I agree. I don't think that it is as strong in this episode, but the dumb moments we're pointing out now is the signs of those issues. So I was trying to think of a way that they could have succeeded in what they were trying to do, which is connect the Inquisitor with the fact that Obi-Wan is now being pulled out of hiding because Leia's being kidnapped. They can justify Leia being kidnapped because she's a princess and, stuff, but connecting it with the Sith because... she doesn't know who Leia is. My opinion is she doesn't, and she shouldn't. She should not know who Leia is at all. And so they could have justified it any other way. For instance, they were on Tatooine, right? And so there could have been something that forced Obi-Wan to do some type of Jedi thing, which gets him on the scent. And then Obi-Wan finds out Leia's being kidnapped. He flies off, and then they follow. That would be a much more logical process of events to achieve what they want, which is Obi-Wan trying to save Leia and get Inquisitors onto his tail.
I guess the Jedi just hunt themselves. Yeah. They can't help it.
But that would also try and justify that thing there.
Yeah.
And you know what would have worked? Is when Uncle Owen was threatened, okay? One of the few things, I think Obi-Wan, in the state he's in, would have let nearly anyone else be killed by the Inquisitor, but not Uncle Owen. And he would have actually, Actually, could go either way. I think he could have let Uncle Owen die, but definitely not Anakin. But they could justify that this also was a tipping moment where he felt he'd have to step in to save Uncle Owen.
Well, he didn't have his lightsaber.
Use the Force.
Just use the Force.
No.
Use the Force.
Luke.
And then they see a hint that and they might not even know it's Obi-Wan, that there's just another Jedi on this planet and they're chasing him down.
They'd know.
You reckon they'd know?
Obi-Wan's pretty popular, I think.
If they see his face, but if they just see like
a hooded figure,
yeah, exactly.
But don't you think that's pretty dumb that if they just accidentally run into him and see him, they'd be like, "That's Obi-Wan Kenobi," or maybe they'd be like, "That's Ewan McGregor."
But that's why I feel you wouldn't have his face revealed. They just think it's another Jedi. Technically, they're supposed to be scouring all parts of the galaxy and the Outer Rim included
and
for Jedi anyway.
Specifically looking for
Kenobi. I don't think it's particularly convenient that they come to Tatooine to search for Jedi. I mean, if they're searching everywhere.
It's no less convenient than any other stuff that happens in Star Wars.
Well, some things are crazy convenient, where it beggars realism.
If it was too convenient, it was the Force.
Yeah. But So yeah, there are ways that they could have justified to get what they were wanting in the episode, but instead, to me, they just pick something so dumb that that doesn't have a connection, and it's like, all right, are we going to have this level of thought into it? And what annoys me, if I could come up with something that made more logical sense and just like, a little bit of thinking, who do they have writing on this? And it goes into what you're saying. These are signs of...
These people...
You don't know, maybe they're under a time crunch, and we're also watching the series after it's all
Also,
finished.
I watched other Star Wars movies, and they're not always very consistent with certain things.
Yeah.
Like what?
I have to go back and watch them.
Oh, come on now. Hey,
But
I
people
have...
have issue with the prequels because, George said it was a mess, the first one.
Yeah, but, like, Nathan, let's just take a step back here, away from the Star Wars things. You've just come out like... I also have an example to add to this, why they are bad. What is it?
Don't know.
Well, I'll have to go back and check.
All right. Here's an example of something that is only there for the plot, and it's so very convenient. And it's that Jedi mind tricks just so happen to not work on the only scrap trader that has the exact hyperdrive that they want.
Well, to be fair...
And when Qui-Gon says, Republican credits will do fine. No, they won't.
It only works on...
What are you, some kind of Jedi waving your hand around? That's a pretty good impression.
It is very good.
Thank you.
Not bad.
But it only works on the weak-minded, and Watto was a smart businessman. He was strong-minded.
But see, there's a this is basically an example of a contrivance that even exists in the other ones, that it was there for the plot. Because if they could just Jedi wave the thing... Having said that, though, at least they had the forethought to have Qui-Gon do the obvious thing. You have the power of the Jedi, do the Jedi mind thing to make him... Because a bad writer would just, not be aware of all the aspects and uses of the Force, and just have Qui-Gon come in, we need this, no, I need Republic credits, and there's like, oh, we need Republic credits, okay. And not realise that, hey, there's a Force thing, but then when they use the Force thing, oh, we've written ourselves into a box, because they could just use the Force and get him to accept Republican credits. What do? We'll just make him immune to it because they're in a box now. So yeah, there are contrivances in the original stuff. It's a small one, granted, but it's there.
Nothing's perfect.
Yeah.
Jawa, not Jawa, what's his name? Jar Jar is the key to everything.
Well, I agree. Because what George was saying was, if we can pull off him, then the movies will be good. But if we fail at making him a good character, because he's the funniest character that we had in Star Wars, like if no one likes him, then we're going to fail.
But everyone hates him.
Yeah.
It's only after the fact where people are trying to push him as a Sith Lord that there's some nostalgia.
Yeah.
But no,
But
I will stay to my guns. Jar Jar was an awful addition to Star Wars and was just horrible.
Well,
Yeah.
George says if we could get him right, it would have been good. But they didn't, so they failed. So George was still right. He's the key to everything. Because if he fails, then the whole trilogy
Fix
fails.
that in post, could ya?
It's actually really fun. I watched documentaries leading up to this just to get the vibe, and just watching him highlight parts like CG, real, puppetry, and he's got like all these markers, and he goes, "See, damn it!" Like highlights the wrong thing as CG. He's like, "You guys know what this is." I miss George.
Oh, George would still make far better Star Wars than anything Disney has
it
made.
would just be written terribly.
Because think about the prequels; they have heart. Look, there's massive issues with
Yeah,
them.
they have heart, but they don't have a brain.
But
All
there's
human
actually a
emotions.
deeper, story that's the prequels are trying to get to that you can see hints of now and then that I can appreciate. And look, because they had great lightsaber fights as well, and it had this attempt at, that deeper story, the prequels are orders of magnitude better than the sequels. Like,
Oh, yeah.
by far, and the only good thing that came out of the sequels, that it made me appreciate the prequels more. It's the only thing. So this is really my thoughts and stuff on Obi-Wan episode 1.
Wait, we haven't gone through the thing yet.
It's been an hour.
We've covered a lot.
I think we've covered everything.
And because a lot of this episode is pretty flat, we're skipping a lot of him.
Stealing meat.
Yeah, I think we covered the major points with this discussion. We might not even need a scene by scene.
Okay.
I think so.
Let us know down below if you feel betrayed.
Or if you enjoyed it.
I was promised a scene by scene.
Do you want scene by scene? We
No,
can
not
do
really. Let's just finish this.
And most important, let us know in the comments who you think is right, me or us.
Well, it's not about who is right. It's about who is the least retarded,
Yes, that is very
which is
important.
probably you. But I think I'm right about this.
Okay. And anyway, who wants to... Like, Nathan, do you want to do this one off?
And as always,
Use the Force.
stay on watch. Stay on watch, Oz!
Use the Force.
one line!
We're watching Star Wars.
You
so
have
use
to
the
say,
Force.
welcome to Night's Watch, and stay watchful!
Patience.
Not... What are we doing here, Nathan?
Yeah, Oz! What are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, Claudia.
I'm scared.